Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Most Beneficent and the Most Merciful. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. This is class 5 science. You have second meeting with me, and I'm Mrs. Farah Nasir. Today is our topic again about living things, and in this chapter, Unit 8, we will learn, inshallah, about the life cycles of the animals and also the human beings, all the living things. All living things come into this world, they grow, reproduce, and die. This whole process is known as a life cycle. And also in this chapter, we will learn about the reproduction by a single cell, reproduction by joining of two cells, complete and incomplete metamorphosis. And this is the seventh characteristic of the living things. We learned this characteristic in the last chapter, chapter 7. All living things come into this world, they grow, reproduce, and die. This whole process is known as what? A life cycle of a living thing. Life cycle is a series of stages a living thing goes through during its life. For example, you can see on your screen there is a life cycle of the mosquito, and clearly you see that eggs, then egg become a larva, larva convert into the pupa and then become a adult mosquito, and there are different stages of the mosquito. This is called the life cycle of living things. There are also some example of the life cycle. This is a childhood, toddler, preschooler, and then become a teenager. Same the life cycle of the chicken, eggs, then chick, and then a adult chicken. Yes, student, one of the most important characteristic of the living thing is reproduction. This is a process by which plants as well as the animals, including humans, make copies of themselves. The lives of all the organisms come to an end at some stage or the other. If organism could not reproduce their own kind, it means that if this um, living things cannot hold this characteristic, then the species would die out and they cannot produce the new one. Open your page 39. Reproduction by a single cell, Unit 8. First, we learn about the reproduction by a single cell, that which organism produce themselves by a single cell. This needs only a single parent cell to produce a new organism. This method of reproduction occurs in lower animals, microorganisms. Microorganisms are those organisms we can see by the microscope, and the plants. The new organism is an exact copy of its parents as there is no joining of two different cells. Definitely, according to the definition, this is a single cell. So, for the reproduction, they need only one cell. Some very tiny invertebrates are made up to a only single cell. They are so small that they can only be seen under a microscope. They divide into two separate cells. The two cells divide into 4, then 8, and so on. They increase. And yes, you see here that some examples of the single reproduction by the single cell. A sexual reproduction, single called organism, parent divides to produce two identical offspring. You see clearly that one parent cell and it divides into two same daughter cells and they are identical with the parent cell. Here are some other examples. Some unicellular organism. Unicellular mean one cell, consists of one cell. Paramecium, also it pronounced as paramecium, amoeba, bacteria, yeast. A sexual reproduction in which a new organism form on the parent organism. The new organism, a bird, form of mitosis and cell division and eventually separates from the parents. There are also some example over here. Yes. The next screen, we have the reproduction by the joining of two cells. In the single cell, reproduction by a single cell, we learn that we need only, for the reproduction, only need one cell. It divides into 2, then 4, then 8, and on the same way, they increase their numbers. Reproduction by joining of two cells. Two cell mean for this reproduction, we need two cells, male and female. This requires two types of cell, male. The male cell is called sperm and the female cell is called egg. When these two cells join together, fertilization takes place and a new organism is formed. Here you see in our book, two life cycles are given. One is chicken and the other life cycle of a fish. This new organism has two parents and has a characteristic of both of them, so it is not an exact copy of its parents. In the single cell reproduction, one parent cell divides into two daughter cells and they are same as the parent cell. But in the two cell reproduction, it is not necessary that the new organism will be same or exact copy of their parents. There are two ways in which animals can reproduce by the joining of the sperm and the egg. The young are either born alive from their mother, as in the case of mammals, or they hatch from eggs, for example, in the case of birds, reptile, insect, and fish. Fish, all the reptiles, birds, fish, insects, they hatch their eggs, and mammals give birth their babies. The life cycle of the some vertebrates like bird, mammals, fish and reptile is very simple. It consists of three stages before birth, young and adult. Egg, then young and then adult. Only three stages are here in the chicken. And the life cycle of fish, eggs, then prey, then adult fish. But some animals have a very complicated life cycle. They change their appearance along with body structure when they pass through the different stages of their life cycle. They change in their body structure from an egg to an adult is known as metamorphosis. Some animals have a very simple life cycle, but some animals have a very complicated life cycle, and this is known as metamorphosis. You can observe this process in the picture of the frog. This picture is given on page 41 and the life cycle of the frog. In the first diagram, you see that the frog lays its egg in water. The second, the baby frog called a tadpole hatches from the egg and starts swimming in the water with the help of its tail. It breathes through its gills. You see that there are no legs, no hand, nothing, only the form of the tail. This is called the tadpole. In the next stage, it grew and first the hind legs. Hind legs mean the the behind legs. And then the four legs, it is now called a foreleg. Next, the gills and the tail disappear and the lungs grow. The tadpole turns into an adult frog. When the tail disappears and the lungs grow, and you see that now the frog have four legs, two hind legs and two are the tadpole turns into an adult frog and it's capable to reproduce. Now it is adult and it can produce the eggs, and the same process again start and then it become an adult frog. Yes, there are a type of reproduction in which the genetic material form two different cells combine producing an offspring. The cells that combine are called sex cells and they are female and male. And what is fertilization? An egg cell and a sperm cell join together. A new cell is formed and is called a zygote. Here students, I share a screen with you, and here you see the life cycles of fly. Fly gives eggs, then it become a zygote and then pupa, and at the end the pupa become into the adult fly. Same here, adult, then egg, it come the first larva, then the second larva grow, and you see that it is bigger than the first larva, and the third larva is the bigger than the first and second larva. The larva become the pupa, and at the end pupa convert into an adult. Complete and incomplete metamorphosis. We learned about the metamorphosis. So what is metamorphosis? The change the body and the structure from an egg to an adult. This process is known as the metamorphosis. We have two types of metamorphosis. One is complete and other is called incomplete metamorphosis. And we also learned that some animals have a very simple life cycle, and some animals have very complicated in the simple. They give us the example of the chicken and the butterfly, and the complicated life cycle they give us the example of the frog. Same here, there are other some life cycle of the animals, life cycle of the grasshopper. Now, according to the step of the life cycle, we can say that this is complete metamorphosis and this one is the incomplete metamorphosis. You see that the grasshopper life cycle is given adult, then egg, then nymph, and again adult. Only three stages are here in the drawing, and you see in the butterfly, egg, then caterpillar or larva, then pupa or chrysalis, then it come to the adult, and then it become a complete butterfly. There are more than three stages in the life cycle of the butterfly. In the drawing above, you can see that animals undergo different stages in their life cycles. For example, the grasshopper passes through three stages instead of the usual four: the eggs, the nymph, and the adult. This is called incomplete metamorphosis because its life cycle is very simple and only three stages are here. Because it does not have the fourth life stage, dragonflies, termites, maggots, and cockroaches are some example of the animals which pass through incomplete metamorphosis. These are all the types of the animals which through passes the incomplete metamorphosis. It means that they have only three stages in their life cycle: eggs and larva or nymph, and they come into an adult bus. Now the second is life cycle of the butterfly, and I told you, and you also can see easily there are more than three stages over here. The butterfly passes through the stage in its life cycle: egg, caterpillar, pupa or chrysalis, and adult butterfly. This is called complete metamorphosis. It is complete all four life stages. It means that more than three stages are called the complete metamorphosis. Bees, flies, fleas, moths, and ants are some example of the animals which pass through the complete metamorphosis. I also show you the screen with the example of some complete and incomplete metamorphosis. The main difference between complete metamorphosis and incomplete metamorphosis is that complete metamorphosis is consist of very active ravenously eating larva and an inactive pupa, whereas incomplete metamorphosis complete of nymphs which resemble a miniature adult. And you see here there are the two examples of this: complete metamorphosis and incomplete metamorphosis. Complete eggs, then larva, pupa, and adult. Four stages are here, although there are three stages in the larva: the small one, the middle one, and the bigger, and then bigger coming to the pupa and then becoming to the adult. But in incomplete metamorphosis, again, egg, nymph, and adult. there are only 3 stages, and in complete metamorphosis, there are 4 stages. There are also some examples: complete and incomplete metamorphosis. You see easily egg, then nymph, and then it become into adult. And here eggs, then larva, then pupa, and then it become an adult. And here also incomplete metamorphosis, the bugs, dragonflies, grasshoppers, eggs. After the eggs, they convert into the nymph, and a nymph become a adult. And in complete metamorphosis, eggs, then larva, then pupa, and then it become into adult. Yes, students, we have finished our chapter here. In this chapter, what we learn about? We learn about the reproduction of the living organism, and there are 2 types of reproduction: through one single cell and through 2 cells. In one single cell, only parent cell are there, and it increase by dividing the cell into 2, then 4, then 8. This is called the single reproduction by a single cell, and in reproduction by the 2 cells, one male and female, they combine, and then a new um, organ, offspring will become. And also we learn about the complete and incomplete metamorphosis. What is metamorphosis? The structure, the body structure of the animals form an egg and then become into the adult. This is called the process of metamorphosis, and there are 2 types of metamorphosis: incomplete and complete. In incomplete metamorphosis, there are only 3 stages: eggs, and names, and then become to adult. And in complete metamorphosis, there are 4 stages: eggs, then larva, pupa, and then become into an adult. Yes, students, come to the exercise. There are fill in the blanks and the correct answer. I already make here the key for you. I'm reading the blanks and correct the circle answer, and you can also tally it with the answer key of your answer key, which is given on the screen. The process by which all living things make new organism is known as the life cycle. The physical changes that take place during the life cycle of an animal are known as its metamorphosis. Incomplete metamorphosis has only 3 stages in the life cycle of an organism. Complete metamorphosis has more than 3 stages in the life cycle of an organism. The 5th blank is tadpoles live in water and breathe through their gills. 6. When a single parent cell reproduces a new organism, it is an exact copy of its parent cell. 7. The female reproductive cell is called the egg, while the male reproductive cell is called the sperm. Yes, come to the part B. Circle the correct answer. Which one of the following process makes new organism? Respiration, digestion, reproduction. Reproduction is the correct answer. Second, incomplete metamorphosis has only dash stages: 2, 3 or 4. 3, because this is incomplete, so 3 stages will be there. A tadpole breathes through its lungs, gills or skin. Gills, because when tadpole become into a adult, their gills will convert into the lungs. If any organism stop reproducing, it will become extinct. Which is of the following third stage of the life cycle of the butterfly? Pupa. The first stage is egg, then larva, and the third stage is pupa. Which of the following living organisms will reproduce from a single cell? Microorganisms. Answers and the question. The question one is define the following terms: reproduction and metamorphosis. Reproduction. This is a process by which plants and animals, including humans, make copies of themselves. That procedure is called reproduction. We also learned this in the previous chapter. Metamorphosis, the physical change that take place during the life cycle of an animal, are known as metamorphosis. Question 2 is why is animal reproduction important? Animal reproduction is important because if animals could not reproduce their own kind, what happened? Their species would die out and they will be extinct in the world. Compare the following with example of each type. Two types of reproduction in living things and complete and incomplete metamorphosis. I give you many examples during the lecture, so you also can take the examples from that clips. First is reproduction by a single cell. Two way of reproduction. We have two ways with single cell and of two cell. It needs only single parent cell to reproduce a new organism, for example, microorganism. And the second is reproduction by joining of two cells. It requires joining of male and female cell to produce new organism, for example, birds and fish. Second part is complete and incomplete metamorphosis. Incomplete, it has only 3 stages in the life cycle of an organism, for example, grasshopper. And complete metamorphosis, it has more than 3 stages in the life cycle of an organism, for example, butterfly. Butterfly. I write here the wrong spelling. Butterfly, butterfly. Okay, grasshopper, and you also can give the other examples of the incomplete metamorphosis which are given in your book. Not only one example, 2 or 3 examples you will give for it. Yes, question number 4 is look carefully at the picture of the life cycle of two insects on page 42. You must draw these pictures on your copy and then you will explain the stages of these life cycles. A diagram of the life cycle of the grasshopper. This is also given in the book. You will draw it or you can take the picture from the net and paste on your copy. The one is adult, lay eggs, then nymph, then it become into adult. 3 stages are there, excuse me. Yes, the second diagram is about the butterfly. There are 4 stages of butterfly: eggs, caterpillar, then pupa, then cocoon or larva, and then it convert into adult butterfly. Adult eggs develop into larva, larva develop into pupa, and after the pupa, it become into the adult. Eggs, then larva, then pupa, and at the end it become adult. There are 4 stages of the butterfly life cycle, so that's why this is called complete metamorphosis. Question 5 and question 7, they both are your assignment. You will do it and then send it to me. Question number 6, that how is caterpillar different from an adult butterfly? Write any 3 differences. Caterpillar has no wings but butterfly has wings. Caterpillar is the larva stage of butterfly but butterfly is a flying insect emerges from caterpillar. Caterpillar does not lay eggs but butterfly lays eggs. These are the 3 differences between the caterpillar and the butterfly. Yes, unit 8, question 6. I told you that 5 and 7, they both are your assignment. Question 5 you can do on the book, and question number 7 you will take the pictures from the net. You search from this question from the net and you will write that what about red gazelles, caspian tiger, dodo and dinosaur. You will write about them. And also you make the list of the extinct element and share it with me. You will do in the paper or do in your copy, on your neat copy. draw the pictures or paste the pictures over here over with every animal, rat, gazelle, and dinosaur, dodo. You will paste the picture of every animal or bird with it and give some explanation and why they extend from the world. Alhamdulillah, we finished chapter number 8 and only one chapter is left with us. Inshallah, in the next meeting, we will complete it. Students, you will complete your copies side by side. You will write all the question answers from the video. You will write it in your neat copies and also draw the diagrams, color them very brightly, because when the school will reopen, your copies will also complete. Okay, thank you so very much. Allah Hafiz.